The outlook given by the doctor was not great. We were told he would have a low quality of life, that he probably wouldn't walk, he would have a lot of medical needs, and kind of laid out my options.
The way that the doctor told us wasn't great. And so when we went home, I was like, all thoughts were going through my head, like, oh, is this baby going to survive? How's he going to be when he gets older? Am I going to be able to do this as a dad? So when we found out about Patrick's diagnosis, it was rough. Up until we met families that had kids with spina bifida. And I think that's kind of when it started giving us a little bit of hope on, like, we can do this.
Tommy did some research and thought, really couldn't find a camp just for kids with spina bifida, really anywhere near Arizona. So without me knowing, he called a camp in Pennsylvania called Camp Spifida and asked if they would mentor us.
The lady called me back and she was really excited, and I just introduced myself and I said, hey, I know this is kind of a weird thing, but our family is thinking about starting a camp very similar to what you guys have. And she was like, what can I do to help?
And then one night when we were watching TV, he just said, what if we started our own camp? We visited 2 facilities, and we went to Whispering Hope Ranch first, and we were like, this is incredible.
Then I heard the backstory about Whispering Hope Ranch and about how it was basically designed for special needs camps, and how all the special needs groups at the time came together to build it and design it. It's hard to explain because most people that don't have someone in their family that's in a wheelchair or have special needs, like for physical disability, they don't think about the day-to-day things of their life that are challenging as far as getting around.
We just started fundraising, pretty much begging people to trust us, to give us their medically, complex child for the week. We are so excited about the partnership with Whispering Hope Ranch and Child Crisis of Arizona. Kids that were barely talking on day 1 are singing in our talent show or performing in some way. Maybe they're doing a group dance or a group skit or a magic show. I don't think we could have seen the impact it would have on our family. And I see it in his daily life of the confidence it gives him is pretty incredible.
I think with camp and the community that we're building with his friends that he's making and the families we're meeting, I just want to make sure it's accessible to anybody that wants to come.
I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in January 2017. I had endometriosis and PCOS with a vengeance, and so they went in to clean some stuff out and found the tumors.
We explored many different options as far as what route we would go to having children.
I've always worked in early intervention therapy. Now I work in early intervention ABA, and 90% of my caseload was always foster babies. And so it always was in the back of my mind to hopefully foster and adopt.
He arrived, I think it was at 7 or 8 o'clock that night after the call, so it was really, really quick how it happened.
So over the next few days, actually our child crisis caseworker was at our house, and I was holding Ellis, feeding him, and he was burning up. And so I asked her, what do we do? At that point, we had only had him for a week. And so she was like, I think you need to take him to the hospital.
I was actually on my way to urgent care with him, kind of heard his breathing get kind of intense, much faster, and then kind of gasping for air. I think his heart rate was, I want to say in the mid 200s, 230, something like that. When the doctor came in, they notified us that it was E. coli in his blood, and come to find out the only way to get E. coli in your blood is from, other than, raw food, is your feces. His biological grandmother, we found out that she left him in soiled diapers for days and days on end, if not the week that she had him, never changed his diaper. If it would have been, 24, 48 more hours of his heart rate that elevated, he would have died.
He has Cornelia-de-Lange syndrome, which is a rare genetic syndrome. About only 2% of the population has it. That comes with large organ failure, a cognitive delay, a speech delay, developmental delays physically. So he was a late crawler, he was a late walker, a myriad of all different kinds of things.
Our bond is extremely strong. He is our son. And then, like I said, since we left the hospital that day, we treated him as our son.
Ellis is a goofball. He's pure joy. He's always smiling, always laughing. For being such a little warrior, he is so resilient. He is pure joy.
Firecracker, a bit crazy. Always a happy kid. He's funny, he's happy all the time. And yeah, he's just a really good kid.
Child Crisis Arizona is by far the best of the best. They have changed the trajectory of our life, and I've always wanted to be a mom, and with my ovarian cancer and everything else that I didn't know if it would be possible to be a mother, Child Crisis made me a mom and gave Ellis a mom and gave Ellis a life, and so I cannot speak highly enough of the beautiful work that they do.
Brody and I were born to be dads, and so we always knew the opportunity was going to present itself for us to consider adoption. We did a lot of research. We were looking for a community that was going to provide us resources, that was open to the LGBTQ plus community.
We got a call that these girls needed a home to go to, and it was all hands on deck. My husband's family came over, my family came over, and everyone tried to prepare us for every option, every scenario.
Meeting them for the first time, you just knew that we were a family. I remember Ariana, our 5-year-old, opened the door and she just burst in, charged right up the staircase, and said, "Which room is mine?" You kind of go into this process wondering, what do they know? What were they told about meeting us? And man, she just knew.
So when Ariana was born, she was taken and put in the system and eventually reunified, but she was with a bio-grandparent during that time. When AZ was born, all the siblings were taken and put with that same grandma again. Then that grandma was creating and distributing meth out of the home while she was watching the kids. So the kids were taken again and put with a step aunt. When the girls moved in with us, they came with different difficulties. Ariana had 10 cavities and 4 crowns that needed to be done. I don't know if they had ever brushed their teeth. And Azeliana had bow legs from lack of vitamin D.
Adoption day was the best day. Lots of tears, lots of emotions, big hugs. It was so overwhelming on adoption day to walk into a courtroom and see the level of support that we had for our family.
Having the accountability of someone at Child Crisis was, they're experts in this, and being able to navigate that for us was indescribable.
The girls are permanent. They know it. There's not this pending fear of, am I going to be moved again? And now I don't think they remember a time where we weren't their dads. We're a family.
You can see that they're vibrant and They have an energy for life, and it's been such a transformation for them to go through all of this and to be in such a healthy place, both physically, mentally, and emotionally.
For the LGBTQ+ community that's looking to become involved in fostering or seeking an adoptive placement, this is the right organization for you. And Child Crisis Arizona really understood that mission for us, and we're happy to be part of it.